Thanks Manscaped for sponsoring this video. This is oyster sauce. It is a sauce used in many Asian dishes, but that is not the reason why I'm making this video. If you take a look at any video I posted lately, you'll notice there is one comment that always comes up, and that is for this experiment. And I'm telling you friends, when you ask, you will receive. So today, we're gonna soak and age every meat in this sauce. Now if you've never had this sauce, let me tell you, it is sweet, savory, it has a tremendous amount of umami, and that shouldn't be a surprise, because if you take a look at the ingredients, check this one out. Monosodium glutamate, also known as the king of flavor, MSG. Now this sauce is delicious, but I have no idea what will happen with different kinds of meats. That is why I want to try with all of them. And hopefully, it's going to turn out real good. So let's begin. And the very first one is going to be this beautiful steak. As you can see, it's a big T-bone, 2 inches thick, it has great marbling, and it will be perfect for today's experiment. Now there's not much to it, because after adding a tremendous amount of oyster sauce into the container, it was time for me to soak my whole steak inside. Because I'll tell you one thing, it is extremely satisfying. As once it's done, into my dry ager it goes for a long time. Because the next up is this, pork belly. Now I have a feeling pork belly is going to work extremely well with oyster sauce. But again, I have no idea what's about to happen. And on a separate container, inside the pork belly goes. I have a feeling this is going to work well because of one reason. Pork goes really well with sweet. So I have really high hopes. And of course, next up we got chicken. Not just a piece of chicken, I will be using the entire thing. Because if this turns out good, and this is the best chicken of my life, you guys are into something. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this one, but I'll tell you one thing, I'm excited to find out. As lastly, we're gonna go with my favorite fish, and that would be salmon. It is boneless, wild, and ready to go inside. I also have a feeling this one is going to be very delicious. At least that's my hope. Because now that I have all of the meat soaking, the only thing left to do is wait. Once the time was up, I immediately went for the chicken first. I'll be honest with you, I never thought I'll be scraping the chicken behind like this. I think the oyster sauce did its job. And as I'm removing the sauce from the chicken, I must admit, it smells wonderful. But I needed to make sure that I pat it dry really good, because the last thing I want is for my chicken to burn. As once I was done, the chicken is nice and clean. It feels slimy. And take a look at the back. It seems like the sauce did something throughout, but since the back had a lot of contact with the bottom, the sauce didn't have a lot of connection. And check out the meat. It seemed like it cured the chicken. Or again, it can just be a deeper penetration. But I have a feeling this is going to turn out great. At least that's my hope. So to make sure that we feel the flavor, I kept it real simple with the seasoning. A good amount of salt followed by freshly ground black pepper and garlic powder. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. As next up was time for the pork belly. This one, like I said previously, I have really high hopes. Again, if I don't scrape all of the sauce out and just cook it like this, it will burn and it won't be great. So I made sure to clean it really well. And once that was done, I have a nice beautiful clean pork belly, and most importantly, you can clearly see the penetration when deeply in there. I kept the seasoning exactly the same. This one is now ready to go. As next up, I had the salmon ready. And oh boy, as soon as I put it on the cooling rack and started scraping it, I can tell you one thing, the smell that is coming out of this thing is phenomenal. But surprisingly, take a look at the meat. It seems like the penetration went too deep. But once I was done patting it dry really good, check it out. It is quite slimy, sticky, but the meat is doing something weird, which is hard to explain. But even though this one looks like this, I still have high hopes. For the seasoning, I kept the same exact thing. That way we'll have a true comparison to see which one is going to be best. As you can't forget about the most important one, and that would be our steak. I am amazed about the smell of this sauce. It is wonderful, but just like the previous meat, the next thing to do is to remove all of it out. And as you can clearly see, the oyster sauce did its job. It penetrated deeply into the meat, and I can tell that immediately by the color. But once all of the sauce was scraped out, take a look. The world's first aged oyster sauce steak. Grabbing my steak on my hand, I can tell you one thing. It is firm, quite slimy, but I really believe it's because of the sauce and nothing else. Remember, this sauce is kind of sticky, but it doesn't look bad, it doesn't smell bad, and most importantly, I am ready for the taste test. And to ensure that I give you guys an accurate result, I kept the seasoning just like every single other one. As now that I have all of the meats ready, just in case something goes wrong, I decided to go ahead and make an awesome side dish. And this one is super simple and easy to make. The first thing to do is the dough. So into a bowl I threw in some all-purpose flour, followed by semolina flour, sugar, yeast, baking powder, baking soda, and water. Mix it up real good until you have this consistency. As now you want to go ahead and cook this up just like a pancake. As once that's done, reserve and get your fillings ready. This one is even simpler. I decided to go with cheese and chorizo because once everything is mixed up, you want to go ahead and place it in the middle and close the whole thing up just like an empanada. Make sure to pinch the edges and make a bunch. As once that's done, into the oven they go at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. As to finish it up, I placed them down on a nice beautiful plate, followed by a generous amount of chorizo and of course onions and cilantro. Now that is today's side dish, and I can promise you one thing, it's going to be fantastic. However, remember what this experiment is all about, because now that everything is ready, the only thing left to do is to cook it. So now I say, it is enough talking and it is time to grill some meat, so let's do it.
But before moving forward, I want to thank today's sponsor, Manscaped. We're diving right into Manscaped new Ultimate Head Grooming Duo, introducing the Dome Shaver Pro Head Shaver and the Dome Soother Head Aftershave Lotion. First, let's talk about the Dome Shaver Pro. This little beast comes with 5 rotary blades designed with Manscaped's signature skin-safe technology, which means you can shave confidently knowing you're less likely to experience nicks and cuts. Plus, it's waterproof, rechargeable, it has a high-performance motor, and features Manscaped's new Flex Adjust technology that adapts to the unique contours of your scalp for a more precise and comfortable shave. Moving on to the Dome Soother Head Aftershave Lotion. This lotion is dermatology tested and designed for your scalp. It's infused with ingredients like aloe, gotu koala, and colloidal oats to come and soothe your skin after shaving. Not to mention, it is alcohol-free, making it nice and gentle on your skin. These 2 new products are a dynamic duo that will take your head grooming routine to the next level. So if you are ready to elevate your head grooming game, head over to manscaped.com and get your Dome Shaver Pro and Dome Soother today. Use promo code GUGA to get 20% off your order plus free shipping. That's 20% off plus free international shipping with promo code GUGA at manscaped.com. Trust me, your scalp will thank you. So thanks Manscaped for sponsoring this video, but now let's get right back to it. All right, everybody, and here we got our feast, gentlemen, huh?
Chicken, fish, some empanada, pork and steak. What can go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I'm missing lamb and stuff, but that would be too much, but we can't handle it. There's a lot of meat.
Yeah, this is a lot. This is for the whole crew.
So here's the deal. I got a little experiment going on right here. There's a lot of food to try, so enough talking and let's begin. So first we're gonna go with everyone's favorite, chicken. And you're gonna go for the breast.
I'm just going with the smaller piece for today.
There's a lot to try, I agree. So give me your honest opinion. Let me know if you feel any differences in this one here or not. Let's give it a go. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Cheers.
Oh my God.
Wow.
This is like slightly sweet.
This is the juiciest steak I've ever... Excuse me. It's the juiciest chicken I've ever cooked in my life. Wow, that's juicy.
It's a little sweet. It's super juicy, as you guys were saying. And the smokiness.
The smokiness is so
Wow.
nice.
It complements everything together.
I just think it's the sweetness plus the smokiness and then the savoriness of whatever you season this with. It just tastes too good.
I'll be honest with you guys. I thought that it was going to be a little bit too sweet because I used a very special sauce, which is called oyster sauce. That is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
We agree? That is a phenomenal chicken. I highly recommend everybody. Let's go with your second favorite type of meat, Angel. Salmon is one of my favorite fish. How about you, Sebastian? I know you're a fisherman like me.
Salmon's not my favorite. I would prefer grouper.
Oh, I like grouper.
Hogfish.
So let's talk about texture and overall flavor on this one here. Let's see. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Cheers.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Okay, I don't like fish, but I'll eat that fish. It's smoky, it's got the saltiness in it.
It's salt and sweet at the same time. Some savoriness, some umami.
I'm not a big fan of salmon, but the oyster really brought out that sweetness, that savoriness, a little bit of the saltiness. It's just not my favorite, so I can't really, I don't know, I'm like...
I like your
iffy
honesty.
about it.
Yeah. It's slightly different than a normal salmon with just salt. The flavor that left in my mouth is phenomenal. All right, let's give it a try to this. Now, I know it looks like a regular empanada that we have here, but it's not really. So it's a little bit different. Normally empanadas is nice and crispy. This one, don't expect it to be crispy.
Yeah, I was feeling it. It feels fluffy and greasy.
Yes, if it's not greasy, it's not right. All right, let's give it a go. Give me your honest opinion on this one. We're about to find out. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Okay. Very different texture for sure.
It's not crunchy or flaky whatsoever.
It's like a pancake.
Yes, exactly.
It's savory as hell. And then on top of that, you got like extra chorizo with some onions and stuff on top. And I love the cheesy gooiness.
Is a thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs
get
up.
thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
I think it's good.
That is delicious. It is easy to make, everybody. You can do a bunch of them. I highly recommend. But I want to try this.
That looks
Let's
crispy
try it.
and
Okay.
delicious.
All right, enough talking. Let's give it a try. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Oh, wow. That works so well.
I think that's the best one out of all of them. That's the best one that went well with the oyster sauce. Right?
Oyster sauce, yeah. I think that's what oyster sauce is made for, everybody. That is phenomenal. What do you think?
This thing looks like a brisket right now, how much it's glistening. On top of that, the fact that it's juicy, it feels like a cheat code right now. Like this is working on every single thing we've had.
The pork fat in the skin like absorbed the oyster.
Yes.
The oyster sauce, so it's just, I don't know, it's like an explosion in your mouth when you take every single bite. It's really good.
I'm very impressed so far, but we all know everything here kind of works nicely with sweetness. But about that, I'm afraid of that.
I'm not afraid, let's go.
I'm ready though.
I'm not afraid.
All right, give me your honest opinion on this one because we are steak people, even though all the other meats were phenomenal. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Oh, wow.
Forget whatever you were doing before. Use oyster sauce and do it how he did it. You're gonna love it.
Oh my God, that is so good.
Wow. To be honest, it doesn't even feel like a steak. It has like a honey ham in Thanksgiving.
Some people might think that is actually a bad thing because it took away the flavor of the steak, but I think that you're trying to say in a good way.
Yes.
The flavor is very similar in the fact that it has that added flavor of the oyster sauce, but the actual steak is still shining through. You still have that flavor of steak. It's not like gone.
I think the reason you're experiencing that is because it got slightly cured, but the umaminess, savoriness of this steak is very delicious. Most importantly, I did not soak the meats for a year. I did not soak the meats for a month. I only did it for 5 days. Highly recommend you giving this a go. It worked out on every single meat. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe. Remember, everything I use is always in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.